Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and I've got to say I'm absolutely stunned. So the deal for Baleba is off. David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano confirming it. Lots of questions, lots and lots of questions. Yeah, I mean, I'm somebody that maintained calmness and composure that we had a plan. Our plan clearly was not a very good one because Brighton have basically said he's not for sale and we've walked away. And you sort of think all sorts of things. I've heard people online saying we've been scammed. You know, we've all gone and bought the new kit because we're feeling positive and it was all a big scam for a couple of weeks to get people to buy the new kit. I just think that it's incredible. Bobby says the deal was never on, pal. Oh, mate, come on. Let me lay this out to you. Nobody is thinking about Baleba. It's just bloody Rio Ferdinand saying, get that piece of paper, get the pen, get Baleba, right? That's no one's seriously talking about him at all. We'd all like him. We all think he's a bloody good player. No one's talking about him apart from bloody Rio. And then David Ornstein goes, Man United want Baleba. Man United are in talks for Baleba. We all quite rightly go, oh my God, this is amazing. This is unbelievable. He's going to cost £100 million. It's what Amrin wants. It's incredible. And then a week and a half later, nah, too expensive. And you sort of like go, what? 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 What was the plan? Like, I'm baffled. You know what this is like? You know what this is like? You sat there a week before Christmas and you're looking at the TV and there's an advert for a PS5 and you know you can't afford it. And then your dad goes, get in the car. Where are we going? Toys R Us, if it still exists. Why are we going to Toys R Us? Because I really want to, we're going to get a PS5. We're going to get a PS5. And you're in the car going, you know we can't afford it. We're getting a PS5. You want a PS5. We're getting you a PS5. You know we can't afford it. Yeah, I know. You're actually moving in the car. You're on the way to Toys R Us. You're there. You're hammering him in the back seat going, you know how much a PS5 costs? Yeah. You know I really, really want one. Yeah. You know I'm getting excited. Yeah, we're getting a PS5. But where you getting the money from? Don't worry about that. You get to Toys R Us, you pick up the PS5. The PS5's like happy to come. Yeah, I'd love to come to your house. Yeah, brilliant. You get to the cashier, they run it through, and then they go, can't afford that. And you go, but I've been bloody telling you I want this. And I've been bloody telling you can't afford it. All the way I've been saying you can't afford it. And you've been going, yeah, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. And then you get to the bloody cashier and you go, you can't afford it. What are you doing? Why have you mugged me off? Why did you get me excited for? And that's how I feel about this update. Because I'm like, I never expected it. He's a brilliant player. I know Brighton want £100 million. And yet United for a week and a half have been quite happy to let us all get really excited. And answers on a postcard. I don't understand what we were actually doing. I don't understand what the play was. I don't understand it absolutely at all. I really, really, really don't. So if somebody understands it better than me, please tell us, because I just don't understand. And if you want the updates, by the way, David Ornstein, United are not planning to proceed with Baleba move this summer. There was contact between the clubs, but Brighton clear not for sale. Man United consider the fee too high. I mean, that's a fucking contradiction straight away. Brighton says not for sale. Man United consider the fee too high. I mean, it doesn't make any bloody sense, is it? That's like me walking to the bar and saying, can I have a pint of beer? No. Walking back to the missus, why didn't you get a pint of beer? Because it's too expensive. Like, you can't have both. So, I mean, what is this? Is this PR to cover every base now? Basically, what's happened is we've knocked on the door at Brighton. They've said 100 million and we've walked away. It's the PS5 analogy. We've just not figured this out. And yet again, it's like knocking on the door of Villa and going, can we have Martinez on loan? And them going, get out. I mean, we've probably knocked on Brighton's door and said, can we have him on a free transfer? I mean, I just don't understand it. And Robert McCormack says 100 million is way overpriced though. Mate, that's got nothing to do with it. That's a completely separate argument and one I would agree with you on. But the point is, why have Manchester United for a week and a half let the biggest transfer guru in the world put it out there that we're in for him and then gone, it's too expensive? The PS5 analogy couldn't be any better. I don't mind if you just say you're not getting a PS5. But you've got us in the car, you've took us to the shop, you've told us we're going to get it, and then when you've cashed it in, you've gone, I can't afford it. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And look, it goes on to say that that in the future, Baleba still wants to come to Man United in the future. I'm sorry. It's not bloody Michael J. Fox time. I couldn't give a toss about the future. I'm sorry. I don't care about next summer. As Amrim said in his press conference, he's got to live game to game. What point is there in thinking we might get Baleba next summer? It's a year. In the last year, a year ago, we hadn't even signed Ugarte. A year ago, McTominay was still a Man United player. A year ago, Ten Hag was the manager. A year ago, Amrim was getting ready for a season with Sporting. You know, a year is an incredible amount of time. And I don't care about a year's time. I really don't. Premier League season starts tomorrow. I fucking know that, mate. Thank you. Thanks for stating the obvious, you piece of shit. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm really not happy. And I don't care about next summer because what if Real Madrid come in for him? And this is the thing. I've seen people online going, oh, well, you know, maybe we can just get top 5 with what we've got and then we go and sign Baleba next summer. And I go to myself, what type of moron are you then? Because I genuinely think that I'm sure he'd like to come to Manchester United now. Ray Simpson says gentleman's agreement maybe. It won't make any bloody difference, mate. There's no such thing as... Don't talk to me about gentleman agreements or obligations to buy because they not worth the paper they're written on. So maybe Man United and Brighton come back in a year's time. It's still 100 million quid. It's still 100 million pounds. The price... David Ornstein says Man United think the price is too expensive. It doesn't go down. He's 21. It goes up. The price will go up. Not down. And also, even if there is a gentleman's agreement that Baleba said, I'll only push for you in a year's time, old Real Madrid or PSG come along and say, we want you. And Baleba goes, up yours, United. I did like you. I do like you, but you're not in Europe and Real Madrid is. It's, we all knew this was now or never. And obviously it's not going to be it's going to be never, isn't it? Unless United have another card to play. But I mean, I did warn you about this morning. I warned myself. When the Manchester Evening News and Laurie Whitwell are talking about unlikely, they're being briefed. They're client journalists of the Manchester United Football Club. They're being briefed. So, in a way, it's not surprising that we've now had the confirmation from Romano and from David Ornstein. I mean, Fabrizio Romano, to be fair, said United are not planning to proceed. The fee is too high and Brighton have got no intention of selling. Manchester United made official contact with Brighton today for Baleba. The answer was clear, no intention to sell. Man United would now move on to another target, according to Fabrizio Romano. So that's even more disappointing, isn't it? That we will move on to another target, which a question, for every action there has to be a consequence. I don't understand what Manchester United's action was here. I genuinely don't understand what we were playing at because it was obvious that the price was 100 million. And that, to me, I don't understand what we were doing. And people are saying Wharton, but Crystal Palace will be there going, no, and they'll be putting the money up. I find it... I'm so disappointed, you know, because I think we did well on the Šeško deal. We overpaid on Mbeumo, or Brentford took us for what they wanted. But I thought we did well on the Šeško deal. But I think this, you know, I was starting to feel a little bit more positive about us in the window. But as I said, this is a 5 out of 10 window at the moment. And they could have really rescued it. And I think this is massively, massively disappointing. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say that I was planning my team around him. But I did think we were going to sign him. I mean, I was only 60%, but that's more than 50%. So, yeah, if you're tuning in a little bit late, United are out of the Baleba deal. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you're going to make a big song and dance about going for a player like this, you get the bloody player. And what I find hilarious is that we've been talking to Baleba for a week, and then we knock on the door of Brighton and say he's not for sale, when he is for sale. Brighton sell. They're a selling club. The truth is, we obviously haven't gone anywhere near the value that they've got, which is incredibly naive to think that you... I mean, I'd love to know what United said to Brighton. We'll give you £30 million and a slice of bread. I mean, I just don't... I don't know. I genuinely do not know what they will have offered, but it is incredible, really, when you think about... I'm actually just disappointed. And as I said, answers on a postcard, because I don't really understand what we've been doing for a week and a half. And let's not forget as well, the window is very much nearly closed. We still haven't sold a player. We still haven't got a goalkeeper. We still haven't got a midfielder. And we've just wasted a week and a half on something that was, you know, looking likely. So we've just wasted a couple of weeks, haven't we, really? Whatever you want to say, we've wasted a couple of weeks, really. So yeah, massively disappointed. I'm going to get your comments on it because, as I said, answers on a postcard. I'm a little bit confused myself, but let's get your thoughts on it. So yeah, David Ornstein basically saying Man United are not planning to proceed with Baleba. The fee is too high. That's the truth as well. That's the truth. Brighton would not say he's not for sale because they will always take a price. The fee is too high. Genuinely, I will do the job for free. If Man United want to drop me an email or anybody else before they approach a player and we can give them a rough figure, they could save a lot of time. So if they'd emailed me and said, we're going to have talks with Baleba, but before we do that, what do you think Brighton will want? I'd have said nothing under 90 million. You're wasting your time. And I think they've gone in and gone 60. Yeah. Graveyard says you're full of shit. I mean, I don't really know what you're talking about, mate, because it's got nothing to do with me. I don't work for Manchester United. I didn't start the story. I didn't end the story. Take it out on me by all the means, but look in the mirror, you sad, sad individual who gets angry at people giving you news. Jeb, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for getting your badge in. We really appreciate you. This is a disaster. I don't think Wharton fits the profile, and I can't think of anyone else, says Andre. Look, grown-up people will understand why Amorim wanted Baleba, because if you know what Baleba is, he isn't a holding midfielder. He's an energetic, pressing, all-action, carry-the-ball player. You put Baleba next to Bruno, and he doesn't sit. He gets the ball, he dribbles, he passes, he makes tackles. He's, there isn't really a profile of player like that. So it's a very difficult thing to pivot. And if you pivot towards Adam Wharton, it's a different type of player. Ben Jacobs said, as reported yesterday, Man United made club-to-club contact to understand whether Brighton's not-for-sale stance was genuine. Brighton made it clear they do not wish to sell. No asking price was ever quoted. Brighton rarely offer a price, especially for players they wish to keep. Deal always complicated on the club-to-club side, despite an openness to join from Baleba. But Man United intend to try and ultimately do some legwork in case they return next summer. It makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense what we've been doing for 2 weeks. So in essence, we're meant to believe that United have spent nearly 2 weeks talking to Baleba publicly, and Brighton have then gone, he's not for sale. And United are going, well, at least we did some legwork for next summer. It's just complete and utter nonsense. If you know anything about Brighton Football Club, there'll be a price. There'll be a price that they will take. And obviously we've not gone anywhere near it. And those people saying Wharton, 70 million. But as I said, look, I'm not saying this, but when the news broke a week and a half ago, somebody said it on social media, and I mentioned it straight away. They said the word spin. They said, this feels like spin. New kit's coming out. Window's got a few more weeks in it. We've just spent a load of money on Šeško. How do you cover off the next few weeks on a player you've got no chance of getting? And that terrifies me. That actually terrifies me now, because when we bought Šeško, there's still a month left on the window. You need a strike, you need a midfielder, and you need a goalkeeper. What better way to kill a week and a half than to go after a player publicly you know you've got no chance of getting? I don't think, I never for 1 minute thought that United would do that, but at the moment you're sort of left, I'm certainly scratching my head. I'm not saying that is it, but I'm certainly left scratching my head. But David makes a great point. Like, seriously, we do need to do something about that midfield, because I would say, as I said this morning, if we don't get a midfielder and we're not getting a goalkeeper, I would like to revise my 5th prediction. I can't put us into 5th place in this case, really. I pray that whoever the other targets are, they do the job that's needed in the midfield, says David. The most surprising part is Brighton not even setting a price. Isn't Brighton's philosophy is selling players have to get Yulman now, says Rajaf. You know what, reading between the lines, Brighton haven't set a price because they don't want to sell. So Man United need to make an offer. Brighton will always sell at the right price. So if Man United had said 100 million, they probably would have said 100 million yes, or 100 million plus 10. But we obviously don't want to bid blind, so we've walked away. But to me, that was always going to happen. Everyone knows we want a midfielder now. Watch the cost for the next targets rocket, says Paul O'Brien. Hating that, do not underestimate United, quotes, says Mario Franco. I am, for one, happy this. Great player, but 100 million is robbery. We need a new goalkeeper or Amrim's gone by Christmas. Emmy and Yulmland, and we are ready, says Dave the Brave. I'd take that at this point. You know, I'm a firm believer that you can be frustrated, you can ask questions. Of course you can, but you've got to act. If we're not getting Baleba, then we've got to act quickly. And I would take those 2 players now because it's better than what we've got. We're going to suffer again as the midfield will be wide open. Even Ruben said we need legs in the midfield. The club has let us down, says Sunsim. Patrick Lynch says, as disappointing as not getting Baleba is and not getting a goalkeeper, it feels like Ineos stretched their abilities to the limit to get Cunha, Mbeumo and Šeško. I just hope there is some plan in place, says Patrick. Are we going for another misfitted player or goalkeeper instead, says Darren. Need to pivot to a world-class goalkeeper now. There's obviously funds available, says United AV. Jace, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for supporting us. I fully expect a midfielder we don't know about and a goalkeeper now. They obviously have 80 or 90 million. Absolute dickheads not going through with Baleba, says Michael. Deadline day, loan deal incoming, says Jason. Well, look, just to step in there and give my 2 pennies worth. The problem with this is, and I have to say it because I would have forgot, is that if you don't do the deal because you walk away, or you don't do the deal for whatever reason, we will get bantered, and it is embarrassing because we all know we wanted him. Everyone knows we wanted him, and we haven't got him. So we just look a bit amateur, really. And I'd love to know what the angle is. Deadline day loan deal incoming, says Jason. The plan was hoping Baleba would try to force the move to bring the price down. Never going to pay 120 million, says AMC. And look, you know what? If that was the plan, then shame on us. And we don't know whether that is the plan, so it's hypothetical. But I don't want a player that goes on strike. I actually detest players that go on strike. I don't want it. Anthony did this at Ajax, and look at him now. Ruben Amrim, I was listening to him this afternoon talking about Šeško and talking about his character and how he consumes football and he loves football. They're the sort of players we want. I don't want a player that goes at 21 to Brighton who've given him a chance. I want to go to Man United and I'm going to go on strike. I don't want those types of players because they'll do it to us in 2 or 3 years when Real Madrid come along. It's short-lived. It displays a bad mentality. So if United's whole angle was to try and get Baleba to force a move, I'm glad he didn't. It makes me like him even more. I don't want players that do that. It's a shit thing to do. I don't want us to do that. Get Stiller and Guerra, 2 midfields instead, says JSD. Guerra's just signed a new contract at Valencia, mate. I don't think it's Man United's fault. It's that Brighton and their manager didn't want him to go unless a ridiculous price that exceeds 100 million is on the table, says Ibrahim. Well, I disagree, Ibrahim, because how would you know that? Like, again, I asked the question, why would you not speak to Brighton before you go public that you want Baleba? Like, you know, you've got to have an understanding of the price. Never trust anything that comes out when protests are announced. Ooh, Reese. Ooh. I mean, to be fair, the last time there was a protest, they got ChatGPT to do a load of images of a stadium that still isn't being built. And this protest got announced and Baleba was out. I mean, it's a conspiracy. Man United, it's like expecting a PS5 on Christmas morning just to open up your presents and see socks. That's from Man United. Let's be real, 100. I've done that one from Robert. We were fleeced, says Z3 Music Official. Jacob says, I'm so sad the alternative Youngland isn't even similar. Well, this is the problem. As I said, there's not really a similar profile player. United AB says, we might as well sack the manager now. If they don't support their manager, midfield will be overrun again. Still no keeper. Absolutely pathetic, says United AB. Embarrassing and gutting, of course. Legwork done for next year. Who should we sign now, Mark? Wharton or Youngland? So, like, best alternative, says Tom. Put your new United kit on, Mark, says Harden. Tony Bain, thank you very much for being a member. Youngland and Costa for Porto for the same 100 million, says Bacard. I don't think we're going to spend 100 million now. Is this scenario where United signed Donnarumma, says Joshkin? I don't think he wants to come to Man United. I think he wants to go to Man City. Sign Wharton, sell Bruno next summer and buy Baleba, says Mario Franco. Look, again, let me just repeat this. If you're comforting yourself that Baleba might come next summer, a year in football is a long time. I don't know why you get excited about next summer. Second point, Baleba may be willing to come to Man United at the moment, but Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea aren't interested. Real Madrid, PSG aren't interested. So him saying, oh, I like to come to Man United, there's no one else in the race. In a year's time, when Real Madrid and Arsenal and Liverpool come knocking, I don't believe he'll go, nah, I want to go to Man United. I really don't. Sean Turner, I absolutely agree. He says Baleba will never play for us now. He'll be a Rodri replacement, going to be another rubbish season. It was now or never. And what encouraged me about this was that we actually made a move I didn't expect us to make at a time when nobody else could make it. Lemens and Youngland have to be signed now then, says she. Watchers get a midfielder and a goalkeeper after losing to Arsenal, says JSD. I mean, you know what? Sadly, taking it away from Baleba for a moment, you know what? This window is starting to echo every other Glazer window, isn't it? Where the season starts, it's chaos. We don't have any targets. It's probably going to take a bad result or two to make us react and do a Casemiro and an Anthony, isn't it? And you sort of look at it and go, I thought we were meant to be changing. I thought we were meant to be doing new things. And we're not. We're not. The season starts tonight and we've sold nobody. We've not done half the business we need to do. And we've got no targets lined up now. So you're sort of looking at it with just over 2 weeks left in the window and you're going, this is going to cost us and it's not going to be plan A. Jason says, we all knew he was 100 million plus. It'll be 130 next year, says Jason. Andrew Adkins, welcome to Members Club. Onana's going to cost us 10 points this season. Any chance for Emi Martinez or are we done? I mean, I have a theory on Emi Martinez, Tariq, and I've said it to you before that he can't play for Villa tomorrow. I don't know whether he can play in game 2 or 3. So maybe if their new goalkeeper does well, he loses his place and they cash in on him for a cheap price at the end of the window and we capitalise on that. You thinking this has anything to do with the fact that Douglas agreed to go to Forest? Think we're going to swoop in on that, Mark, says AJ. I mean, I like Douglas Luiz, but he's not Baleba and he's not Wharton and he's not Youngland. It's for me, that's another short-term deal. I don't think we'll do Douglas Luiz because he's 27. I really don't think we'll do it. I think we'll bring somebody in, though, because Collier's gone. Brighton chairman says everything has a price. They didn't plan to sell, but would do. Is that reasonable? Mbappe cost the same, yet joined Madrid for free. Why would United ask a price they know, says Ibrahim. No more players will be bought 100%, says Robbo. Hijack Luis or Youngland needs to happen, says Just Jake. Being generous with 5 out of 10, sign 3 players, 1 not, says Gaz. I don't know what that means. If we're going to pivot, we need to pivot fast, says Emily Derry. Thank you very much, Emily. We've been made to look like idiots again, Mark. Don't know why I expected anything different. Need to go for Donnarumma now. Next best thing, says James Gibson. What next, says Mojo. I think you've just stolen the thumbnail for 7 o'clock. Would the work done on Baleba this window help United next season if they decide to re-pursue Baleba next season? I don't Abhishek, I really don't think it makes any difference, you know. It's like your driving test, isn't it? You do your driving test, you fail your driving test, and then you've got another driving test booked in a month. Does it help you in the second test? It can, but you don't know what the circumstances on your next driving test is going to be. It might be raining. You know, you might take a different route. Somebody might cut you up. You might be nervous. I don't think it makes any bloody difference that we've done a bit of groundwork this summer, because I think if he has a really good season, which I think he will, his price will go up. There'll be more clubs interested. We won't have a clear path at him. I think, as Fabrizio says, we need to pivot now. And if we get Baleba next summer, it'll be another, you know, I don't think it makes any difference. It's like me going to the Ferrari dealership, speaking to a salesman for a week, knowing from the start I can't afford it. Absolutely spot on. I am scratching my head as to what we were thinking for the last week and a half, Trishan. Just wanted to come in and show my appreciation for the community. I've been here since 2016. Come on, United and United stand, says Andrew. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, pal. Would go now for an overpriced midfielder, only to find that he won't cut it in the Prem. But next summer we won't be able to buy Baleba, Wharton, because then we would need to replace someone again, says Anurag. Jeb, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for that. I liked the PlayStation 5 compare, but if you want to play FC25 on PS5, you always have the cheaper alternative, PS4, says Howder. And Slow Sports News says, the problem I find is if we leave it until next season, depending how our season goes, we won't be the only ones in for him next year. Well, look, I took some note. I know Beth's already done it. I'll talk about them at 7, but I took some notes on Amarim's press conference. And there was a few things in there that I want to talk about at 7 o'clock, but one of them was he was asked about the midfield, and he basically said, I'm happy with the players I've got, and went on to say that Mason Mount could do a job in the midfield. I mean, so not only are we using Bruno Fernandes in a midfield too, we'd now consider putting Mason Mount there. And I'm just sort of like, this is the thing, isn't it? Like, our midfield is not good enough, and we're now talking about putting Mason Mount in there as well. I mean, it's just... it's terrifying, and I worry for Amarim because he's obviously said, I want this player. And the profile of Baleba is a million miles away from Mason Mount, you know? Barada's plan going to 25-26 with crap midfield, says Reese. I can't believe how everyone is thinking next season when we haven't even started this one. I know, it's madness to me, Zane. In a dream world, Isak and Garnacho should be a swap deal, says Mads. Mark, the most worrying thing is the lack of young Man United fans. The kids like Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City and Arsenal, says Alan Carroll. Thank you very much. Okay, well, I'm back with you at 7 o'clock. Just a quick reaction to that. The Baleba deal is now off. Gabriel says, I think it would have taken about 120 million to convince Brighton why they'd sell for 100 million this year when they would. But I don't disagree with this, Gabriel. And I think a lot of people are saying this. But as we've said, why have Man United been public on this for a week and a half when we all knew they'd want a lot of money? We just wasted time and embarrassed ourselves publicly on a deal everybody knew was expensive. And it feels like, somebody just said there, it feels like United have gone and tried to buy a Ferrari expecting to pay the price of a fucking Vauxhall Astra. I don't know what we've been doing. Who's advising us? Who is going out and negotiate? I mean, I can't believe it's like, you know, speaking to Baleba first is normal, but that's fine. But you go into a deal knowing what the price is going to be, and then you speak to the player. United have been test driving a Ferrari for a week and a half, and then have gone to buy it and gone, shit, I didn't realise it was that much. A week and a half of talks, intensive talks with Baleba. What a fucking waste of time. If I was Baleba, I'd be furious. You know, I think I'm going to Man United, and then they go, we can't afford you. You know, literal cock tease. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This tactic makes no sense. I'm just hoping there's a pivot. I'm hoping there's a pivot where we go back in, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm back at 7 o'clock. Remember, because I'm on That's Football at 8 o'clock with a watch-along for the opening game of the Premier League season. This was all spin to distract. Badge, courage and spirit water bottled, says J-Lo. Well, a lot of people are saying it was spin. I don't know. They just didn't want to spend, says Shahin. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you at 7 o'clock. Take care and thank you very much. Stay safe.